Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear affirm the evidence about presenting this matter shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Mr. Braswell, did you ever expect yourself to be here testifying in a murder case?
No.
If you would, I'm going to try to relax you a little bit in this. And if you can, just tell the jury how old you are.
How old I am?
Yes, sir.
I'm 68.
And Mr. Braswell, don't give us your address or anything, but do you live in the county?
Yes.
And how long have you lived here?
43 years.
And what do you do as your occupation?
I'm a grade contractor.
How long have you been doing that?
All my life.
And part of that, what type of work is it that you actually do? What all things do you do for the
I
business?
used to do a lot of residential stuff. I usually just work on horse arenas now.
And when you do that, what type of machines and stuff do you use to do it?
Bobcat, farm tractor.
Do you have a big business? Do you own it?
Yeah, I own it.
Do you have a lot of employees?
No, one, me.
Just yourself? Where in the county do you live? Don't give us your address or anything like that, but where in the area?
Off of 372 Birmingham Road.
And do you know the defendant, Melody Walker Farris, here in court today?
Do I know her?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And do you see what she's sitting in today, the type of clothing she has on? And she's sitting here at the table with
Right.
defense counsel?
Mm-hmm.
And how long have you known her?
Probably since 2016, maybe.
How did y'all first meet?
Her and another neighbor were walking that lives closer to her, and they walked out the little road by where I live, and I was cutting grass. And the other neighbor that I knew, I'd done a lot of work for her, and they stopped and just got talking, and she introduced me to Melody.
And is that Sherry Cooper?
Yeah.
Did you know her? Did you know her Sherry? Is that what you knew her by? Did you know Sherry Cooper by Sherry or Sharon?
Sherry's all I've ever known her by.
And where was she from?
Minnesota, maybe.
Not from
north.
Georgia?
No.
Okay. Different accent than you?
Huh?
She had a different accent?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Not like my accent, but just not a Georgian
Right,
accent?
right.
And about how long did the three of y'all kind of interact and know each other?
They walked, and we'd just see each other, see them at the restaurants. They'd go to eat at the restaurants. And my youngest daughter went and played with Melody's grandkids when they were in town.
And you were previously married?
I was years. Yeah.
And your wife has some issues with, I guess, drugs a little bit.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And you kind of adopted her daughter.
Right.
And raised her.
Right.
And so, how many children do you consider you have, including your youngest that you raised too? How many?
Well, I got 2 of my own and her, so 3. Yeah.
But she's your daughter too.
Right. Oh yeah.
Y'all close family?
Yep.
Now, do you remember back in July? I think it was around July 7th of 2018. Detective Kuykendall and Detective Pope from the sheriff's office came out and talked to you.
Mm-hmm.
Were you expecting them to come and talk to you?
Figured so.
When did you hear about something happening to Gary?
I guess it was that day or the day before, maybe.
And how did you hear anything?
Melody texted me.
She texted you and tell you?
Mm-hmm.
What do you remember her saying about it?
She just said, well, she first said Gary was missing, and then she said they found him in a burn pile.
And do you remember what day exactly that she...
I don't.
If he was found on July 5th, do you know what day it was that she let
Probably
you...
the 4th, maybe. The day before, maybe.
But you're not certain of the date?
No, I'm not.
And that was basically all that she said to you?
Right.
And y'all, tell the jury, how often would you ever walk with her and Sherry?
No, I never walked with them.
You basically just hang out with them, eat lunch a little bit?
They'd be at Cherokee Ranch and eat lunch, and we'd all went up there to eat lunch when we was working or whatnot. Yeah.
In the family, the Farris family, who all did you interact with?
Scott and her's the only ones I knew.
And how much interaction did you have with Scott?
Just eating lunch and seeing him on the road at Tractor Supply.
And did you have any problems with Scott?
No.
Did y'all get along?
Yeah.
How about you and the defendant? Any problems?
Do what?
Did you and the defendant, Melody, have any problems?
No.
And did y'all get along?
Yeah, I thought she was just a good neighbor,
Did you ever go to her house?
I went over there to pick up Emma a time or two. Yeah.
Emma's the youngest.
Right. She's my youngest daughter.
And did you ever go in the house or anything like that?
Inside the kitchen. Yeah.
Now, how many times do you think you actually physically stepped on their property?
The most 4 or 5 times.
How much time when you would go on the property would you spend there?
A few minutes.
Anything longer than 15 minutes?
No.
Now, around what I want to talk to you about is you've met with us and talked to us, haven't
Right.
you? And we've gone through your timeline to see where you were around July 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Do you remember that?
Yes.
What I want to do now is kind of go back through your timeline. I think on July 3rd of 2018, you talked about, were you working on some polo fields?
Yes, I was working on Post Road on the polo fields. Mm-hmm.
Just tell the jury about, on July 3rd, kind of your day, what you were doing, where you were at.
We were stripping grass off of a grown-up horse arena and putting down new footing, which is M10's gravel dust, and which that took us several days.
Now, what is that? What type of material is that? How's that
It's
different?
gravel dust. It's ground up granite. Yeah.
Where was this at?
Polo Fields is on Post Road that runs between Highway 20 and Highway 9.
How long were you there doing this job?
We were there about a week.
And on July 3rd, what would have been your kind of...
We usually went to work 8:30 to 9 and worked till 5 or 6.
And on July 3rd, afterwards, where'd you go? I think you went to a Mexican restaurant?
Yeah, I went to Pueblo's up on 306 and met all my kids, actually. We had dinner.
Where is this restaurant exactly at? What city?
It's on 306 and 400 at the Publix restaurant up there.
All right. If you were standing there and that, looking at the kind of the mall, the place where Publix is and the restaurant, describe it to us. What would you see? If you're standing there looking at the front door of the restaurant.
Hadn't been there since then, but it's to the left of the Kroger store. That's all I can tell you.
About what time do you remember y'all had dinner that night?
6-ish, 6:30.
Were you? I don't know if celebrate is the right word. I believe one of your oldest daughter just came back from the Marines.
My middle daughter just came back from the Marines. Yeah.
Were y'all celebrating or just having a time
Right.
there?
Yeah.
Now, after that, where did you go on July 3rd? What time was that over and where'd you go?
Emma and I went back home.
You remember what time you got home?
Probably 8:30, 9.
And what'd y'all do that night?
Went to bed.
Anything out of the ordinary?
No.
Anything make you go, yeah, I really remember that and that was strange?
No.
So you were home. Your testimony is that on July 3rd, you were at your working in the polo fields and then at the restaurant and then home.
Right.
Were you on the Farris property at all on July 3rd?
No.
Have anything to do with the property on July 3rd?
No.
Now, on July 4th, I think we kind of joked about it, but 4th of July, obviously, you're getting up that Wednesday. I think you went to breakfast?
Went to breakfast, yeah.
Where'd you go? Was it Macedonia?
Probably went to, I can't remember if I went to Waffle House or if I went to Cherokee Ranch. Probably went to Cherokee Ranch.
If you said it was Waffle House earlier, would that have been a place you do go, the Waffle House?
Occasionally, not much.
And why would you go to somewhere like that on the 4th?
About the only place open.
When you went to breakfast that morning, was anybody with you?
No.
What'd you do after that?
Came back, Emma and I piddled around, and then we went to my other daughter's in-laws for a cookout that day. And we were there all afternoon.
Who was all there at the cookout?
All 3 of my daughters, son-in-laws, 2 son-in-laws, and one of the son-in-laws' parents.
And where was this at? And kind of, if you could play a video, kind of speak a video of what you saw there. Tell us what was going on the 4th at the cookout.
They were watching ball games, and we just sit around, and they cooked ribs and hamburgers, and wasn't a whole lot happening.
Was it outside, inside, or something?
Both.
And what type of food and stuff were you having?
Ribs, and they had hamburgers and hot dogs.
And again, whose house was this?
This was my son-in-law's parents.
And where's that at?
It was about a mile and a half up close to the campground, past the campground actually.
Okay, and how far is that from your house?
A mile and a half.
And how far is your house from the defendant's Farris's house?
Quarter of a mile.
So basically right there on
But
top
it's
of
on,
each other.
yeah, it's on another road, yeah.
And on July 4th, how long were you there at the cookout?
We were there till after supper.
What'd you do after that?
Went home. Emma and I went home.
Emma was with you?
Yeah. Oh,
Anyone else?
no.
Oh. Was Emma staying with, I guess Beth was your ex-wife's name?
Yeah.
Was Emma staying with Beth at all during this time? Or?
I don't think so. I don't remember. There was a time frame there. She had her for a day or two, but that day I don't remember.
And when you were at your house on July 4th, did you ever leave after getting back to the home?
No.
Did you ever go to Farris property?
No.
So on July 4th of 2018, did you ever step even a toe on their property?
No.
Did you ever get outside going to your house? Did you ever go down there close to their driveway or
No.
anything like that? Do you have anything to do with their property on July 4th?
No.
Now, afterwards, I think, did you meet Scott at some point after Gary was found murdered? Did you ever see him at a gas station later on?
Right.
Do you remember what y'all were talking about?
I just told him I was sorry to hear about what had happened to his dad.
And did he say anything to you that you remember that was out of the ordinary or
Not
anything like
really.
that?
No, not really. I mean, he was upset, as naturally anybody would be.
And we mean upset. What was it? How
Well, I
was it?
mean, he was grieving over the loss of his dad.
Do you remember what gas station that was at and when that was?
It was a marathon up at Ducktown, I think.
Ducktown?
Yeah.
How long after the 5th, after Gary was found, was this? July 5th is when his remains were found.
I can't remember. It was a day or two. May have been a week. I don't know. That's been over 6 years ago.
Did he say anything to you that made you think that it was odd or anything like that?
No.
Did you end up telling anybody that
No.
he said something? Was there anything that you recollect that he said that made you think, oh, Scott had something to do with this or anything like that? Did y'all didn't have any problems, you and Scott?
No.
Sir, I wanted to make sure I clarify your relationship with the defendant. Were y'all ever romantic or anything like
No.
that? Friends only?
Friends only.
But you would talk to her, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Tell the jury about how often and how you would talk to her.
We talk frequently, just neighborly. I don't know how to explain it really. I mean, there was no relationship or anything there. It was just a neighbor. Relationship, it just, there was a couple other, with Sherry, I talked to her and did work for Sherry. I never did anything for the Farrises.
So you did some type of work for Sherry.
Oh yeah, I did.
She like it?
Oh yeah.
How would you describe your relationship with Sherry?
Just typical neighbor.
Fair to say you're a little bit closer to Melody than Sherry?
Do I now?
Is it fair to say you're a little bit closer to Melody, the defendant, than Sherry?
No, not really.
About the same?
Yeah, I mean, just typical neighbors.
Would it be unusual for you to talk to the defendant by phone or by text almost every day, or sometimes?
It was a possibility, yeah.
And we were able to go over some records from your phone
Right.
to show that you were talking with her. Do you remember that?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And those, when we show you those, were those text messages, to the best of your recollection, fair and accurate messages between you and the defendant?
Oh yeah.
Well, when law enforcement came to talk to you, they asked you about, did you know the defendant's phone numbers? Do you remember that?
I don't know. I didn't know it just right off the hat, but I gave it to him, I think.
Right. You gave them actually 2 numbers, didn't you?
Right.
Do you remember the first number for her that you had, or one of the numbers?
I couldn't tell you what the numbers were.
The 678-389-1987. Does that ring a bell? about the 678-592-9029?
No, I mean, I had her in the phone as Melanie, and that was it. You know.
I think you had it as Melody, and then the other one is Melody Farris. Is that right?
Right.
But you would agree with me that you had two numbers for the defendant in your phone. Is that yes?
Right, yeah.
And you agree with me that y'all would text and talk about things in a relationship or stuff going on with her and Gary and Scott?
True.
Did she ever express to you her frustrations she would have with Gary? Ever say anything about Gary?
Nothing, no, not particularly, no.
But some things.
Yeah.
How about Scott?
No,
Not really, Scott?
not,
Was she ever saying bad things about Scott?
no,
Ever saying she's angry at Scott? Is
No.
that no?
no.
Ever saying that Scott was mad at her or mad at Gary or anything like that?
Never to me. Mm-mm.
So no issues that she would tell to you about Scott having problems with her or Gary?
No.
And did you really talk to Gary at all, or how much to do with
No,
Gary?
I knew Gary, but I didn't ever talk to him.
What was he like to you?
He was quiet. Only time I'd ever seen him was at the restaurant. Him and Scott would come and eat, and he'd speak, and that was it. You know, he was quiet.
Quiet guy? Was he quiet?
Yeah,
Cherokee Ranch, y'all eat there a lot?
right. Morning, noon, and night.
There's on tender evidence now, State's Exhibit Braswell 1. It's a extraction report from Cellbrite that we've done.
No objection.
All right, submit.
Judge, may I approach the witness? All right, Mr. Braswell, we're going to show you. I'm going to get a computer. It's going to come up on the screen here, and I'm going to walk you through some of this stuff here. I know you've seen that. We asked you some questions about that. But if you can't see it or something, let me know, okay? When law enforcement talked to you, you cooperated with them, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
In fact, how many people do you know at the sheriff's office or knew?
Bob Post, Joe Satterfield, brought us to Ledford. I don't know right off.
You know a good bit?
Yeah, yeah,
Just,
yeah.
just from growing up here? Any
Right.
problems with the sheriff's office?
Do I?
Any problems with the sheriff's
Oh,
office?
no, never.
Were the detectives, were they nice to you?
Oh, yeah.
Did they threaten you in any way?
No.
Did they yell at you, scream at you?
No.
They have to use bad cop, good cop with you? Did they, from the best part that you know, was it a nice conversation?
Oh, yeah.
Were they gentlemen with you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Did you resist or try to hide anything?
No.
Did you give them permission to take your phone and download it and get all the information?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Where'd you have to go to do that and get the
To
phone?
the precinct in Freeholm.
Freeholm?
Mm-hmm.
Did it take very long? Do you remember?
Hour, maybe.
And when they took it, did they give the phone back to you?
Oh, yeah.
So a cordial interaction. This is the exhibit. This is a Cellbrite. So basically, they took your phone and got the information off. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Right here, 404-683-1829.
Mm-hmm.
What's that number?
That's my phone number.
Now here on page 2 of 15, over here on the left, you see where it says from, and it's got a melody, it's got a number right there.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Now we know the first number you dialed, then the area code 678-389. If that was the number you have, and it was in there as Melody, that's her number, the 1987?
I guess, yeah.
All right,
I
so
don't know which one was which.
October 10th, 2016, timestamp here, about 10:21 p.m. And so this is from her, looks like to you, and it says, does that say finally quitting, can go no more, finish in the morning? Is that what it says right there?
Yes, sir.
Let's see if
Yes,
that-
sir.
That part. And then looks like the next message there, the 1829, that's your number? Probably help if I highlight it.
Yeah,
Right there?
Yeah.
And then to the 1987 number for Melody, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you respond, is that dang it, girl?
Yeah.
And then same conversation, 10/10/2016, from the 1987 number for the defendant. Does it read, he wouldn't even go get me and Scott food?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now at about 10:24 p.m., you respond to her and you say, is this correct? You say, wow, maybe he'll get hungry one day and won't have anyone to get him any food. Was that your response?
I guess. I don't remember all this, but it's there, so I guess I did.
Okay. And then October 10th, 2016, 10:26 p.m. from the 1987 number from Melody.
Mm-hmm.
The text was from her to you. My response to his fit he threw was, I hope you die alone in a gruesome death. You see that?
Yeah, I see it. I see it. I don't remember that, but it's there.
You don't dispute if they dumped your phone. It is what it is.
It is what it is, yeah.
And then you respond by saying, there you go, he's going to push you over the edge. See that right here?
I can't see that up there, but
If I make it bigger there.
is that on page 3 here? I can.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, there's your problem.
This is not on.
Screen's not on.
Let's turn that on.
Oh. I'll just read off of the paperwork.
That'll work. I don't know, it seems to be flashing. Judge, I don't know if it's
Is
just...
it unplugged maybe down there on that part?
I'll look at it during lunch. Just show them on the document where it is.
I'll show you that.
Was it up the whole time Shaw was here?
Page 3.
That's page 3.
Oh,
All right, so...
Works different every time we use it.
Start. So right there, and then we'll just go to page 3 and go right from there.
you think that thing unplugged?
It could be. And if you can see that. All right, so let's go. You're page 2 there.
I'm on page 3.
All right, page 3.
Yeah.
There you go. He's going to push you over the edge. You see that?
Yeah.
All right, that's your response, and then you see her reply to you.
Mm-hmm.
At 10:10, October 10th, 2016, 10:29 p.m.
Right.
I know, and that scares me. Told him finally to go where could not even see or hear him. It would be in his best interest. Did she say anything else to you about what he had done to make her feel like that?
No. I have no clue what it was other than didn't get nothing to eat.
Do you ever remember her saying anything else to you about hoping that he would die a gruesome death or be gone?
No.
And you go on, there's some more messages here, but did y'all ever talk about guns or anything?
Not that I recollect.
Do you remember her asking you anything about guns or shots being fired in the neighborhood?
No, I mean, there's a guy that lived between where they lived and I lived that shot a lot. But I don't remember her ever per se saying anything about shots.
Let me see the written report. I'm going to ask you a question. There's some more text messages going on, but I want to ask you about specifically. Right here, this starting right here. See that? We're on page 15 of this report. Now, these aren't all your messages. These are just some, but I want to go to page 15.
Okay.
And 1829, so we got your number from you to her 1987 number, and there's a question. You see that you shooting? You see that?
Mm-hmm.
And then from her, she says, no, laugh out loud. That's on May 4th, 2017, about 6:26 p.m. Do you see that?
Yeah.
And then from you to her, the message is, you say, okay, see that?
Yeah.
And then on May 4, 2017 at 6:27 p.m., from her number, 1987, she texts you and says, I'm not that bad a shot.
Right.
Going to say between you two, you respond, laugh, LOL, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And then that later on from her to you, same shooting as Saturday or Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally from her, the 1987 number to you, May 4th, 2017, 6:28 p.m. And she says, text, handgun question mark. You see that?
Right.
Did y'all ever talk about guns or shooting?
No.
And did you ever see her with 2 cell phones?
Yeah.
And when was that?
When she was walking.
And what would she be doing on those cell phones?
Carrying them. Sometimes she'd be on one.
Was she talking on one?
Occasionally.
Out of the 2 numbers, we've got the 1987 number. Of the other number she had, which one would she communicate with you the most?
I don't remember.
Now, did she ever talk to you about Rusty?
Yeah.
Tell the jury what she would say about Rusty.
He was I'm assuming a boyfriend that was in Tennessee that she had known for a long time.
Did you know his name was Rusty Barton or just by Rusty? Did you know his name just Rusty or Rusty Barton?
Rusty Barton.
Did she say how they met?
I think had known each other all their lives.
Did she indicate whether or not they were in a romantic relationship at the time?
Yes.
You kind of make that.
Yep.
I know you don't want to be here saying
Oh, I know,
this,
but yeah, I'm telling the truth. Yeah.
what would she say they were? How long they had been in a relationship?
I really don't know about that.
She say where they would meet up sometimes?
Chattanooga, different places. You know.
How often would they meet up?
Once a month at least, probably, maybe more.
It was more than that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was, wasn't it?
Probably, yeah.
You knew she was going to meet Rusty during the week? Did you ever assist her in meeting Rusty or
No,
anything?
no.
Sir, I'm not saying anything
No.
ill about you. I'm
No,
just
I know.
asking.
I know.
You understand? I got a job to do.
No, I know.
Would you just ever ask her what's going on between you and Gary if you got Rusty on the side?
Wasn't in my business.
Didn't want to get involved in that, did you?
No, no.
How would she talk about Rusty?
They were longtime friends, and I guess just been in a relationship for I don't know how long. But
Did you see her talk on the phone to Rusty?
I don't think I'd ever seen her talk to him on the phone.
Did you know she used that one phone to talk to Rusty with?
Yeah.
The other phone, not the main phone, right?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know which one was which.
Did you know that she would use one phone for him as opposed to using for a family?
Right.
Did she talk about Rusty in front of Sherry while you were there?
Oh, yeah. I mean, actually, that's how I found out was from Sherry.
And how long had you known about Rusty? Do you remember what year it was when you first learned of him?
Pretty much since I met her. I mean, just pretty recent after that.
What year would that have been?
I want to say 2016, probably. I don't remember.
Did you know about anything that she had on her person or anything because of Rusty? Anything to remember him by?
No.
Do you know how she kept him in her phone?
I have no clue.
She talked to you about anything that they would do besides meeting up? Would she talk to you about it?
Not really.
Did you ever inquire at all about it in any way?
She sent me a few hunting pictures where he'd been hunting and killed a deer or something, but other than that, that's all.
Was he a hunter?
Yeah.
Were you a hunter?
Yeah.
I had that in common. Did you ever see Rusty in Georgia?
No.
Did you ever see Rusty at the property?
No.
Did you ever know whether or not he ever came down to the property?
Oh, I have no clue. I mean, I wouldn't know him if he walked in here today.
Sir, to be clear, I want you to look at this jury and answer this question. Did you have anything to do with the death of Gary Farris?
No.
Did you personally get involved in it in any way?
No.
Did you help the defendant in any way?
No.
Did you go to the property at any time of this and do anything to aid or abet her in this?
No.
Did you even get close to the property on July 3rd, 4th, and 5th?
No.